And we are recording, so we're ready to talk about the franchise. Let's see if I have this in order. Screen. I don't know if this is showing up on my camera because I have this
I
background.
see it, dude. You know what's
It's
amazing,
there.
dude?
It's there. Okay.
Is that I like the very first 90s, the first, the posters that were on theaters.
Yes. Oh man. Yes. I'm glad you said that because now I will post that. Once I edit this video and post the different posters that they had, especially for the old ones, but even the new one. The new one we have been talking about that before. I think we talked about that before when we were talking about horror movies. How
Uh-huh.
how original they're doing these posters for the new movie.
You,
Uh, Especially the one with the it was the train station. It was like the map.
yes.
It was like the map. I think that's probably my favorite one. Which
You,
if I do buy one, it will be that one.
mm-hmm. You know that yeah, I liked how that poster has all those, stops, but apparently these aren't, like regular stops on New York City, but apparently these are the killers and the victims who got killed from the 1 through 5. It's like I said, it's like the Chucky, grave tombstones about Chucky's, victims and the people he had encountered with. Even
Yeah,
though the
yeah,
names, even though the names were from the IDs or their birth certificates to give them, the morgue names to know who is this person was.
yeah. Exactly. I can't wait for this movie. I'm curious. This the one character from Scream 4 that she's not dead. I mean, she's in the trailer. That's no spoilers. I'm curious on why they didn't kill that character. Why she's coming back? I'm curious about
Uh,
that.
dude, if you have not read, watched the Dead Meat, channel or read the recounts of it, apparently that originally Wes Craven was going to have like her to be survived, like in the ending of the original one. Well, in the alternate ending or so, they were supposed to give us like Kirby is confirmed she's alive, and it was going to give us a cliffhanger, but that was not going to be the original one we had part four, even though you watched recently. But originally, dude, part four was supposed to give us a cliffhanger where Jill, got away, and then Sydney has amnesia that she thinks her
Yeah,
that
Jill, you're talking about the niece, right? She was
yeah.
the niece of Sydney.
Mhm.
That's something I really want to talk about. It. I want to talk about when it comes to the franchise. It's like somehow they always had a connection that goes back to Sydney. You know,
Yeah,
of course, the first one will be with Billy Loomis,
yeah,
which is pretty much her boyfriend in the first movie, and his
ex-boyfriend.
ex-boyfriend. Yeah, but he's the one that had all this weird shit going on with his best friend. It's like they want to recreate stuff from horror movies, and that's pretty much how everything starts. And then you go to Scream 2, where you have
Billy
Mike.
Loomis's mom.
Yeah, Billy Loomis's mom, but she's working with the other guy, Mikey. What's his name? I believe
Mickey.
Mickey. Yeah, so it still goes back with when it comes to Billy's mom. Um, Part three. What was part three again? Because I don't really recall.
Well, part three was like originally it was supposed to be the ending of a trilogy, but goes back to Sydney's mom, where Sydney's mom used to work in Hollywood as an actress, but then things went bad for her because, what happened to teen, like how the 70s young girls gets, trying to get a movie role, but they had to do not the honest way, but they had to have, sleep with directors or
Yeah, yeah,
by
yeah.
producers.
Of course. Yeah,
But,
all
but
the nasty stuff.
do you know what's interesting, dude? Is that part three really was super meta of its own because one, they had a lot of rewrites and a lot of reshoots. Two is that they had well, the producers who made the first four Scream films, did this behind the scenes. And also, my personal favorite is that it was being super meta on its own because, Hollywood had a lot of criminals, even though movies were, being hassled by behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah. And what was that villain's Roman? Was the villain for three? Right? Was the
That
guy?
was Ronan. Ronan. He was the
Yeah,
director, but he was actually Sydney's half brother.
exactly. So it was always some type of connection, no matter what. Because
Yeah.
then you go after that, you go to Scream through 4, and that's like you said, Jill is her niece.
Actually, it was her cousin.
Cousin, yeah, yeah, that's true. Cousin, but she was working with Charlie, where Charlie was also kind of like the name. What was the name of the guy from the first one? The one that was into the whole movie shit. Um, was it Randy? It was Randy, right?
Randy.
Randy was the one, because the other guy that was always recording everything, he was more like Randy, but he was like the best friend when it came to Charlie. So
Yeah, but
you kind of see the whole thing, but at the same time, Jill, which is the cousin, she was the one that because her excuse was that she had to leave her life because thanks to Sydney, she was dealing with all that BS, and in a way she was just jealous. She wanted that fame for her. That's pretty much what it was at the end of the day. She was making an excuse, but it was just jealousy at the end of the day. That's what it was. That's what I took from it, because I rewatched the movie yesterday. And then
but not. You also forgot it's always about this was during 2011 where internet fame was on the rise. Like, for example, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you named them, like trying to be like all famous in 2011.
And that's true. I forgot about that, because that's how the movie starts. With the whole it's a meta movie at the same time. It starts with the whole different openings. It's like, wait, which one is the opening? It's like step 6 or step 5, and then it goes to step 7, and then it ends up opening to Scream 4, which is the real movie. And then because before that happened, in one of them it says, this is all about social media, and one of them says like, oh, it's Facebook, and then the other one's like, it's more like Twitter, because Twitter is the thing that came after Facebook. And then pretty much we go to part 5, which is the one before the new one, and that is literally about the daughter of Billy.
Yeah, not to mention it's about the sisters of the Carpenters, because one, you got Tara and Sam. Like, Sam is the daughter of Billy Loomis, but do you know the idea? What's super symmetrical about that one is that Sam was the babysitter to Tara's friends, and she was been noticed about. She was famous being the babysitter to Dare, because she's like the Laurie version. Yeah. And 2 is that Carpenter, the last name for Sam and Tara, is that they're both actually the daughters of about the father who's named Carpenter.
Yeah.
But also, if you have not seen the Scream series, dude, okay, you ever seen the part where the season 1 finale, we know that Piper is actually Brendan James's,
I have seen it, and actually, it's been a while, but I actually like the series. They actually did pretty good, in my opinion. I know there was people that were mad about it because they didn't have Ghostface when it came to the mask.
Yeah, but if you have seen that,
but there was one season that I really liked, which I don't really remember what was the season, because it's been a while. But the series was actually really good. I was surprised by it, and it was from MTV, right?
It was same as the same company made the new Scream movies. But as I said, as season 1 and 2 is that we all see that this is an experience about the whodunit, but we're actually seeing the crime stories of everyone's shadiness. Like, you can't just say, oh, we're gonna straight to the killer, but we got to know what's everyone's shadiness they done. Like, example 1, you blackmailed a person to do this to get your money, and the second shade, and the other thing is that you've been having you've been cheating on someone else with it behind their backs. And my personal favorite is that, but apparently this is dragging yourself to today's media about, like saved, videos on the cloud or on social media, but also understanding the killer was just trying to gaslight you from no matter what kind of way.
Yeah. But I do have a question. When it came to the Scream series, was that canon to the franchise, or?
I think it's just an Elseworld, dude.
It's its own thing, right? Because I don't recall. Like I said before, it's probably my old mind. I'm getting old to remember shit. So
Uh-huh.
I don't recall. I like I said, I remember the series. I remember being good. I remember I was surprised while I was watching. I'm like, this is actually good. But I don't remember anything, any type of recall when it comes to them talking about the movies or anything like that during the show. Like, any type of connection.
What's interesting, dude, is that yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. It's like kind of like how, some good shows that are from the movie franchise, like kind of like how Chucky is connected to the old films he recently did. But for
Yeah.
Scream series, dude, it's its own, its own verse. Like trying to have its own world where, you know, its own timeline, but not it's a reboot. It's not a reboot or a remake. But what's interesting about Scream the series, dude, apparently season three just kind of like went to a different world and a different timeline. I mean, season three wasn't connecting about the first two seasons, and we never got the straight answers.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was the one that I actually liked the most. I don't remember which. There was one season that was actually really, really, really good, but I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the
Yeah, no,
one where he had twin brothers, something like that.
that's season three.
Okay, so it was the one with the blonde, right? They had a
Yep,
blonde. Okay, so yeah, I think that's the one that I really, really. It was actually really good, but at the same time, it's like you said, it was a season that it just ended. It just didn't really went anywhere. It's like you were waiting for more in a way, and you
yep,
just never got anything else after that.
yeah. And apparently, from the first two seasons, didn't get any conclusions or any answers or any questions being answered. But what's interesting about the Scream Part 6, dude? Okay, have you not noticed that this new Ghostface is wearing Billy's old mask? Because have you not noticed the mask is like torn and, worn out? It's like, wait a minute. And as I see some people's been posting pictures of Billy's old costume,
Yeah,
that's Billy's mask because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
one
yeah.
old.
You be sharing that lately. On the messages. You got me curious. I mean, even before this new movie, which is what part six,
Yes.
there was always rumors about part five when it came to the return of one character, and
Yep.
that character will be Stu.
Yep. I
So
mean, I don't understand the logic because one, Stu's, would be his head got crushed, and second of all, he got electrocuted in the eyes. It's like, wouldn't that, kill him like already? Because I
yeah,
doubt somebody would survive.
exactly. I mean, at the same time, I don't know. There has been worse shit that has happened in people in real life, and they have survived. So I can really answer that for you. I do get the point of view. I mean, it was some messed up shit. He ended up with a TV, you know, on his head. But who knows? I mean,
I mean, dude, I would be literally get my skull crushed, and if it landed in my eyes or my mouth, I'd be electrocuted to death. Like you said,
and again,
that's like,
it's a movie, But
yeah,
uh, I don't know. I really, again, I won't be mad about it if he returns.
yeah,
But
but wait, 'cause, like he's the
but
most like character.
they're gonna have to really explain how he survived and shit like that.
And what's so funny, dude, about apparently that what's interesting is that we all know that okay, Sam from Scream 5 is actually the daughter of Stu Macher because I'm like this. What do you expect, Billy? He's always been a cheating ass boyfriend, and second of all, he's always been like this. He's never been patient with any girlfriends he's been with.
Yeah, Billy he was just a psychopath, pretty much. He was no good, especially for Sydney. Sydney was just more of a good girl type and all that stuff,
Yep.
and he was just more
Not
of a
to mention.
he was just more of a bad boy and shit like that.
Yep.
He just seemed like he was just a control freak and all that crap. Besides being freaking psycho, so it is what it is when it comes to that. Again, I'm just curious of what they're gonna do with part six, because especially that you have um, Kirby returning from part four, which she literally skipped part five. So just skip a movie. You have a character returning from a movie before the sequel, and them going to New York, you know, they're not even in the same place that they're supposed to be. Who is following them there? You get what I'm saying? How do they know?
Yeah.
It has to be a connection there. Somebody with, you know, that's following them, or somebody that's close to them. Who knows? That's why it has to be curious. You know, what's going on in
Yeah.
this movie?
Yeah. I'm curious about how did they manage to get all of these, evidence from the police locker, because the shrine about the ghost face costumes, the things that clothes, the bloody clothes, the stuff that killed them, and also the
Yeah, because it's
sketches.
supposed to be like some type of museum that somebody has right in the movie. And
Yeah, not to mention,
I didn't even thought about that. That's really good to think about now that you say it. How
besides,
who took that? You know, how? You know, hopefully
is I'm
that's something that's not gonna be a plot hole in the movie. Hopefully they explain all that, because they really had to explain all that.
and also what's interesting about the shot about all those Ghostface costumes, it makes you think about the total of who worn the costume. Like, for example, Billy Stu Part 1, then you have Billy Loomis's mom and Mickey. Then the only single one we got is mainly Ronan, Sydney's brother. That's 5
in part 3, but you had 2 in part 4, because it was 2 of them in part 4, which it was
then you have
Jill and the other guy's name I keep forgetting. Charlie. Yeah.
And in part 5, you got Richie and Amber. But I wonder, you think there's going to be 3 or 2 in this one? Because I don't think this Ghostface is not working at all alone this time. He's not working alone at all.
I mean, but and then you have the Ghostface taking the shotgun, in the trailer. Like, wait, hold on, he's not even following the rules when it comes to just using a knife. I mean, I understand. I think too they kind of did that in a way, but he's using a gun, So this Ghostface, he's kind of a savage, You will say. We're gonna see who the hell is playing him. It looks like he ain't playing no games, whoever it is, him or her. That whole train scene. I'm really curious how they're gonna do that. You're stuck in the train with a killer. So where can you go?
It's interesting, dude. We never get to see the sequels of the Scream movies take place in October on Halloween month, because it's like we mostly get them all in spring break, or on like in season spring, or in fall season. It's like, but we never get to see them on the Halloween month. You know what I mean?
I never thought about that. I don't know. I don't really recall now that you said it. And at the same time, maybe these horror directors, especially Wes Craven, rest in peace.
Yep.
You can't compare Halloween at the same time, because it's a slasher movie too. It's about a guy with a butcher knife, pretty much. It's kind of similar to Ghostface. You don't want to make it too close to Halloween, and you never want to compare something to Halloween, because Halloween is a classic. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you have to make your own thing. So that might be the case when it comes to that, which I would not blame them at all. Whoever's directing the Scream movie, because Scream 5 was a different director, right? Because Wes Craven was already gone.
Yep. He died years ago.
Yeah. So I that might be the answer for that. At the same time, you gotta be careful when you make a horror movie. You can't make something too similar to, especially to a classic, because that's not gonna end well for you.
Yeah, what's interesting? What's interesting about what's interesting? What Chucky and Scream have in common is that both of them don't have any any reboots or remakes, but apparently they kept their own still straight timeline.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, now that you said it, I mean, Chucky, it could kind of confusing in a way, but but it was never, like you said. I don't think, now that you really say it, I don't really think it's never a reboot. Well, they had that weird remake that was more like the new movie that came out, Megan.
Yeah,
But
but dude,
that was his own thing, you know. But at the
yeah,
same,
because that was
what
NGM.
yeah, what
NGM
they
was the one who owned it.
exactly, and what they did that they still continue the old universe. So you know
Yep.
they kind of knew that you know even though I personally I don't really hate that remake. You know, it's not really as bad as people say, but it's not the original, of course.
Yep.
But obviously they did the right thing. Not
Mm-hmm.
like not like all the studios would do. You know, I'm not gonna name it. You know, they did the right thing. They seen the wrong, and they just threw that in the trash, and they continue. They went back to the old because they know where it's at. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
You try something new and it's not working. You gotta see. You know, you gotta have common sense. It's not working. Throw that in the trash and go back to what was working. It's that easy. It's that simple.
Yeah. And you know what's so funny, dude, is that since Ghostface is, roaming on New York City, this ain't the only slasher character who managed to be roaming on New York City. Because if you have not watched, ever watched, Jason Takes Manhattan, apparently they learned their lesson how you
I
can,
never seen it.
well, dude, it's mostly infamous, infamous most hated because due to they were, it all, man, it all takes Manhattan at the dirt act, not the entire movie act. It was just all on a boat.
So okay, all right. So it was what do you call that? They didn't promote that movie right then.
It was like,
It was a movie pretty much with the new law that they
yep,
passed with the trailers. It's a movie that could have been sued, but of course it's an old movie, so you cannot go back in time and do it. Oh, I didn't know that. Again, when it comes to Jason on Friday the 13th, you know, I like Jason, um, but I know how many movies does Jason have? Like 11 movies. I mean,
I don't.
it was a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have probably only seen like the original Freddy versus Jason, which I actually like a lot.
Yep.
And what's the other one? I think the remake was okay. It wasn't really. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. If that makes sense. It's in between. That's the same thing when it came to Freddy the remake. I don't really hate the remake, but I still feel like it wasn't like the original when it came to the Freddy remake. I just don't understand. And we talked about this before. Freddy and Jason, they have been, you know, they have been lost for a while. It's time
Yep.
to. I understand Jason because they've been saying there was a lot of things happening.
Revivals.
There was a lot of things happening with the IP. Apparently, you know,
Yep.
the license. You know, that was a
Yep.
problem. There's a problem with the license. Nobody knew who had the license. There was a lot
Yep.
of copyrights. There was a lot of back and forward with different studios. Apparently, it was a hot mess. But when it came to Freddy, I don't understand why we haven't got a movie for a while. Because I
Don't
don't
ask me,
think,
dude.
from when I recall, I don't think Freddy never had any problems when it came to the license and shit like that.
I mean, dude, the truth is, I don't know what's happening with Freddy, but who knows? We're gonna get a sequel with them, with Freddy to be back in theaters. But I'm just saying, dude, what's amazing is that nobody talks about the Freddy, the Freddy Krueger series that used to aired before. But if you have not, if you're like, there was a Freddy Krueger series, it was it was on a channel before, but Sci-Fi was re-releasing them on their channel. But it's on. But if you want to watch the whole seasons, it's on Tubi if you can watch it.
It was I didn't know how old is the series? 90s?
It was 80s, dude.
80s?
Like when.
And
Yeah.
who was playing Freddy? It wasn't the same actor, right? It was somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. It was Freddy, the whole Freddy version, but not shows. But Robert Englund didn't play the human Freddy Krueger when his his burning his birth scene he had.
Oh, okay. I gotta look that up, man. You okay?
It's on Tubi.
You throwing me some things I didn't even knew about, man. Okay.
Well, dude, there's a lot of things that we don't know. I think. Well, there's a lot of stuff that I learned from the Dead Meat, recounts because, well, for starters, there's a lot of things that the Scream movies had a lot of things to do in order to make the movie. For example, I bet you did not knew about, that Sam Raimi was supposed to make, the first Scream movie. Did you
Oh
know about
man,
that?
no. Uh, I'm not sure, man. Like I said, my old man probably forgot, but I'm not sure about that one. Maybe I read it a while back, and I forgot about it. But oh, okay, you
But
got
yeah,
me curious about that. I mean, yeah, I'm guessing Wes Craven still was the creator of Scream, right? And
no, it was Kevin
or
Williamson.
Okay, all right,
But but also, dude, I bet you did not knew about. Oh, okay, I know for the first one with Scream was that, Wes Craven had his cameo, but the rest of the films had their own cameos. For example, Part Two, Wes Craven had a little small cameo, and then Matthew Willard what had a little small cameo as the background character. Part Three, we had like Wes Craven did make a cameo. In Part Four, he had a deleted scene in that one, but I kind of hated to kind of delete his, his cameo scene. It's like, dude, why did you, did that to him in the final cut? It's like I'd rather have, this, Wes Craven to have his cameos to say that, no matter what he has a cameo on all the films, he should be meant, be cameo saying rest in peace or honor about him. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah,
also, dude, the thing I like about some good horror movies is that you'd be cameoing, you'd be referencing of, old horror movie works that you used to work back then and also make a knockoff. But you know what's interesting, dude? Have you not noticed that in the screen trailer that all these people wearing costumes are all parodies or knockoff versions like how Halloween stores do make?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I like about Scream when it comes to a franchise because it's all about people trying to recreate, trying to follow the rules of horror movies,
Mm-hmm.
and they start talking about Halloween and Friday the 13th and all that. It's literally, in a way, it's something that will happen in the real, in the real world, and I'm pretty sure it's something that has happened in the real world a lot of times. Horrible
Mm-hmm.
stories because you guys, people that are just too sick in their head and they take that in their mind and they see that they can recreate something that somebody will make a movie one day or a document. You get what I'm saying?
Yep,
Which is in a in a
I know
in
what you mean.
a in a messed up way. At the same time, is something that I really kind of hated when it came to that Netflix show that they made when it came about a real serial killer. I forgot his name. I didn't really support any of that because that was real stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Yep,
It's something that I can really watch and support because that's the reason why these people like that do it because they know they're gonna have a document, they're gonna have a movie one day. They
yep,
don't they don't care if they end up in jail or in prison. They don't care at all. They know their story is gonna be told one day. They want to
yep.
be seen, and that's exactly what they're doing. And I believe I told you this before. When it comes to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm 50-50 when it comes to that because
Uh,
it's the same thing. You get what I'm saying? They have movies that now they're making a video game, and it's like I don't see myself playing the game because it's something that happened for real.
yep.
There was real people, real victims that got killed in the here on Earth. And you want me to sit there and play this game about something that happened for real? Like that's kind of sick in a way. So I don't really see myself, playing that game. And again, I don't know if that's the same way everybody would think about it, but that's just my take on that.
I see what you mean. Hell, dude, sometimes even the documentaries are just disturbing to watch. Even though, I mean, I define the documentaries are, to me the worst and, the most, terrifying to think about. It's like, whoa, they did this in real life? And I'm just like, wow. And I could not even pass through the episode 2, dude. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
just too much.
a document will be. I understand a document because you're saying something that happened, but you start making it movies and you're trying to turn it into a franchise. You end up making toys about it. You end up making movies that go to theaters. You're literally making, a serial killer become a legend or an icon. It's sickening if you really think about it. So
Yeah, and if you ask me, dude,
that's my take to all that. And again, that's have nothing to do with Scream or anything like that, because Scream has nothing to do with that. Scream is just following rules and stuff like that from other horror movies.
yep. And also, what's interesting, dude, is that Kevin Williamson got his inspiration from, in real life. Even though that, Wes Craven was, did not, be like how, oh, ignore that. But apparently they're just, they understand the concerns. I mean, how do you think Scream 3 had lowered down the stuff they were, that happened in 1999?
Yeah.
I mean, part 3 had to be, lowered itself with the violence because 1999 was a bad year for movies to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, dude, not to mention, it's just that, I know Wes Craven, does care about, about the things what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, yeah, rest in peace, man. I wish he was still around. I do wonder he would have. I'm pretty sure he would have directed the new movies too. He directed pretty much all of them, right? Before he passed away.
Yep.
So
And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he would have gave us like another recall of, the Nightmare on Elm Street, because what's interesting, dude, is that nobody talks about how not Wes Craven's A New Nightmare on Elm Street, that it was aired in 1994, 2 years before Scream was released.
Yeah, and and it's and when it comes to that, like I think I told you yesterday, a couple of days ago, I really do feel like Jordan Peele will fit when it comes to making a new Freddy movie. What I mean by that, you kind of see, Jordan Peele, so he's making all these horror movies because he was all about all horror, especially when it comes,
Yep.
especially when it comes to the Twilight Zone. Because
Yep.
he has said that a lot of times. I really do feel like he will be the perfect fit when it comes to a new Freddy movie. I really do feel like he will kill that. He will destroy it in a great way. He will do an amazing job. If you think about Get Out and movies like Us, he
Nope.
Yeah, Nope was literally one of my favorite movies from last year. He will do a great job when it comes to that.
I mean, he would, because he wouldn't be just doing like, oh, simple, like how
he likes to do
how the
practical, and he also
yeah,
he loves practical with CGI. He likes mixing that way. That's how all Hollywood used to be, pretty much. That's why I always follow directors like Christopher Nolan and Guillermo del Toro, because they're all about practical. When they hate CGI, and they have said it. They'll rather do the harder work when it comes to practical, even if they know it will be easier to do a CGI. They're like, nah, we're gonna do that practical.
That's the thing I like about like Scream, is that you're using practical effects. Even though that I know you have some CGI knives, because I get the point about why why Wes Craven used a CGI knife, because they had a lot of incidents with the stabbing miss mark because of the padding.
And I understand what you're saying, because when you watch the Scream movies, new, old or new, you still feel like you're watching something old in a way. It's like old Hollywood.
Yeah.
You see it, because I was literally watching Scream 4. Scream 4 is not even that old of a movie, and it still felt like it kind of belonged in the 90s in a way, And even the last movie, it still feels like it belongs in the franchise. Because you get that a lot when it comes to a franchise. You have the old, then you have the new, and they throw you off because it just feels different. It's not even the same. We kind of have seen that when it comes to Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, they don't kind of fit, because the Hobbit it just feels different in a way. It doesn't really feel like the same universe when it comes to looking more clean and way more CGI. Which I don't hate the Hobbits. Don't get me wrong. I actually like the movies, but it's not Lord of the Rings. It's not on the same level as the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And but when it comes to Scream, they have kept that old school Hollywood magic in a way.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like about the Scream films is that there's no good or bad ones. It's just they're more, rewatchable. I mean, okay, my favorite Scream movie would be Part Two because, one, this was like the definition of the 90s. Two is that, apparently everyone had like, a good glow up. Like, for example, Gail Weathers with that nice hairdo, and apparently we don't go like high school, but apparently we're going to college place. And also, that was like the definition of 1997 was like.
Yeah, yeah, man, you're gonna have me rewatch all of them. I mean, I just rewatched Part Four yesterday because it's been a while. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so now I just gotta go to five before the new one. So I already know the story, but I just wanna kind of refresh my memory when it comes to all that. I started with four because of Kirby, of course. I don't remember her character at all. You get what I'm saying? So when I watch four,
Yeah.
in my opinion, she's a very likable character. I like her a lot. I like her as Kirby.
I mean,
She's cool. She's there. She's not a bitchy in a way because I mean she was even into the nerd. When it came,
yep.
she was into him. She didn't want to kind of admit it, but then you know at the end of the movie, of course, it's spoilers. It's a whole movie. He ended up being one of the bad guys. So yeah.
You know what's interesting, dude, is that in Scream 4, the ending, apparently Jill's, fame had just expired really bad. But when you have Kirby, her fame just blew up because one, she wasn't a killer. Two, she tried to save Charlie because she wasn't not involved with this. She was just like, no, please, please, no, 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 I'll do it. Then later she became a famous, police detective. Because if you have not noticed, why do you think she's there? Because she works at the NYPD. And also, in part five, dude, I see that rewatching part five, I noticed that Kirby is alive because there was an Easter egg because the dead meat cameo, apparently it was not the only cameo we got. Kirby is alive and confirmed she's alive because she was giving her an exclusive interview. That's
Okay.
like, I bet you did not notice about when you saw that, did you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. That's you said part five, so I'm gonna have to rewatch part five. Just to
Well, it's
let you
confirmed she's
know,
alive.
time is running out, so we got like 50 seconds. So yeah, man. Again, thanks to you, you're a horror guy like me. I cannot wait
Mm-hmm.
for this. I cannot wait for this new movie. I just noticed your is that like a shirt?
Thanks. I got it from Spencer's.
That is fire, dude. I was just okay, Spencer. I went to Hot Topic today. I went to Spencer also, but I didn't saw that one. But yeah, I cannot wait. Are you gonna watch it opening night when it comes to the new Scream, or are you gonna wait a little bit?
I'm gonna watch it on the opening night on Thursday, dude.
Opening night, I think that's next week, right? So
Yep.
I have to wait because my girl is going on vacation. So I have to wait until she comes back. Sydney's on it. She's not supposed to be in this movie.
I don't know.
That's what they're saying. Who really
I
knows?
really, I really hope she has like a last minute cameo.
And then Kale is also not in this movie either, right?
Yep, she's in this one because her
Yes.
work, is her job is at New York City, dude.
All right.
I'm
So
just saying.
I mean, if any of them shows up,
Mhm.
you think they're gonna kill somebody else in this movie?
I do not want to think about it, dude. I'm just gonna wait till the movie comes in.
It's gonna hurt, right? It hurts to even thinking about it. Because I was again from that trailer from part five. It was just for some reason I had that feeling when they showed the scene in the trailer. I'm like, oh fuck, It's just like I already knew. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna do my boy like that, and then you end up watching the movie. Like, I knew it. It still hurt, even though I had a feeling. But yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait for this movie. I'm gonna be there supporting this movie 100%. We also have John Wick coming out after this. I said the week after.
Yeah, it's it's on the 24th of March, a week after St. Patty's Day.
So we have what? We have 65 on screen coming out the same day?
Yep.
Oh, shit. All right. So looks like I'm gonna have to watch 2 movies in one day. If I have the
Plenty.
time, of course. But I do want to see 65. The only thing I'm not really excited about 65 is it's a short movie.
You know, what's interesting, dude, is that 2 films in one day. Apparently, one's longer and one's a short-ass film.
Yeah, because Scream, how long is this new Scream?
2 hours.
Is it just 2 hours?
Over 2 hours.
Oh, over 2 hours. Scream 6, 2 hours and 2 minutes. It's not bad.
I'm just saying, dude, somehow, with all, our classic horror movie characters, I'm just saying one day we're gonna need to have Chucky in the big screen again, because what's interesting, dude, is that it's interesting how the original budget from Scream movies were, not that big, but, cheap enough to make a good one. But Part 6 looked like it upgraded itself. I mean, if you not notice the cinematography, the style looks different. And I hope the music is, upgraded itself, because I know Part 4 we never got the, what's it called? The red hand.
Yeah, that was
The
me.
red hand.
I went to Spencer today and I took a picture of the guys.
Dude, I see what you mean, but dude, if you have not noticed what's the difference in that one versus the Trick or Treat Studios, is that Trick or Treat Studios have all the classic details, like the good guy with the Indian, the Indian. Then you have the. I'm trying to get that one. Like
that thing is huge though. The one I seen today, I don't know how big is the one from the other one, but that thing is really big. I think that one was going for like $90 at Spencer's. But like you said, it didn't really. It looked good, but it didn't really look like.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, dude, the difference between, and I really hope NECA makes the Glen doll.
I don't see why not. I mean, they still. I don't think they still haven't released the big size ones, right? They have been working on those for a while. I don't know. They've been having a lot of problems when it came to
Dude,
I guess manufacture or something. So
dude, they already released them already, and apparently apparently the pre-orders are already being shipped out.
okay, all right, because they made so they made Shocky and then they made
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
That's the bride, the bride section.
Yeah.
The top. But you think they were gonna give us a Glen doll?
I mean, again, when it comes to NECA, they have been very surprising lately. They have been coming out with some stuff that we didn't even knew about. The whole Ninja Turtle stuff. I know they're big on Ninja Turtles, but like the last running, that's something I wasn't expecting from them. I was surprised. Happy that they did that because I got my figure already. Gargoyles was another surprise by them. You just never know when it comes to NECA, and a lot of these companies they're going back to the 90s and 80s because they know that's where the money's at. There's a lot of people from like us from the 80s and 90s that they grew up with all that, and we want that. We want everything that we could have had because we were kids. We didn't have the money. We couldn't work. We were living in we were not working. We couldn't work. So
Yeah.
now that we have our own money, we want to buy all this stuff that we couldn't have bought before, and we getting the stuff now with better detail and stuff like that. So.
Oh, for sure. What's interesting about the NECA ones, dude? You know what's interesting about the, Bride of Chucky toys from the 90s versus today? Is that one, the Bride of Chucky toys in the 90s, they weren't like fully, detail accuracy, because the 90s toys on the Bride of Chucky is that it's not 100% accurate, because we don't see Tiffany wearing a veil, and then we don't see, and then Chucky's face looks different, and his shoes are not the same. And plus, they're not even the same, the height. Like this one's like shorter than the other one. It's like the baby size versus the, regular the real life size is like toddler 2-year-old size.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see them in person when it comes to the NECA ones, but I do wonder who will carry those in when it comes to stores You know, because sometimes some stores have a policy when it comes to how big, you know, um, the figure can be for them to carry them in stores. So that will be something more like Spencer's. I would say
Uh,
that they will have it. I don't see Target having them because they're too big when it comes to
dude, dude, if you have not ever gone to Trick or Treat Studios, that's where mainly those toys come from, or Entertainment Earth, because I think the reason why, and if you have not ever gone to at your hometown or any outside the outside town, there's horror movie movie shops exist all over in the USA. Hell, I went last month, dude. I went to Las Vegas and I went to their Nightmare Toys area.
yeah. How was that? How was Vegas?
Fine. It was great, and everything has changed the last time I went there.
Okay.
Last time was 2018.
I never been to Vegas, so I have no no idea. I would like to go one day, just to go. Uh, but yeah, man. Again, I can't wait for this movie. Um, I had to wait. Fortunately, I have too much shit going on right now. So it's just too much happening. It's my birthday month. With that, are you getting Resident Evil 4? Are you gonna get Resident
I'm just,
Evil?
of course, dude. I'm gonna get. I'm still thinking. Should I get the pre-order? Should I get the the digital or physical? Because you know me, I
Physical,
like physical
man.
stuff.
Physical. It's all about physical. Do you have a Best Buy where you live at?
Well, I mainly have an account there to get it. But dude, the thing is,
They can ship it to you, right?
well, dude, I use mainly a Target, card because,
Okay.
for
Well,
free
just
shipping
just
this.
just to let you know, if you like steelbooks, if you pre-order the game at Best Buy, you get a free steelbook with it. So,
Hmm.
and
Thanks
that's
for letting me know.
yeah, and that's something you can always keep, and so I always do physical because it's just I like to see my shit. I don't really support digital crap, but yeah, man, I'm pretty sure that will be your first time playing Resident Evil 4, right? With the remake,
Yep.
and you're gonna love that game. It's literally it's not just a great Resident Evil game, but it's literally one of the greatest games ever made. Like that's how big Resident Evil 4 is. Like it was just something crazy when it came out, and I think with this remake, it's gonna be amazing all over again.
And I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying. Sometimes I hope that, Universal does give us a Chucky game because if you have not, knew about the news, well, video gameplays. Apparently, there was supposed to give us a Chucky game, but it got canceled. But you think we're gonna get more of the Silent Hill film, games? Because apparently we didn't have not got more news about when it's gonna be released.
Oh, what, Silent Hill?
Yep.
Oh no, they last year they announced we have like 2 games coming for Silent Hill. We got at least like 2 or 3 games. We have the remake of Silent Hill 2. We have a new Silent Hill game besides that, and we have a new movie coming out. Well, and the new movie is gonna be more of a sequel of the first movie because it's the same director for this first movie. And if you recall, I don't know if you've seen Silent Hill the movies. In my opinion, Silent Hill the first one was like one of the best, you know, movies based on a game, and it's gonna be the same director from the first movie. So
Dude,
I can't wait for that movie.
dude, I love that movie because it literally had the idea about like the idea that the idea how a mother has to do with has a way to find their child and to save them. And
Yeah,
also,
and then pretty much what I was gonna say, the new, I don't know if you know, but the new movie is based on Silent Hill 2, the video game, and
yeah, I know.
and if you don't know by now, Silent Hill 2 is like the most popular game. So they really he came. I believe in him because obviously when you see the first movie, he's a fan of the game. He did an amazing job in my opinion when it came to that movie. So I cannot wait to see what he's gonna do with this new movie, especially with technology that we have now. But even so, when you watch the first movie, it's it's a lot of practical effects in that movie. You know, it feels really, really, you know, it still feels old school in a way. So I think that's what makes the movie great. You know, it's the magic about old Hollywood and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this: what's so special about Silent Hill is that it had that amazing, atmospheric and amazing, idea about what's the normal world versus what's happening right. Everything turns to rust and bloody. Like the idea saying, "Oh my God! Apparently, we get a world where we had to escape the nightmare because the
Yeah,
coloring."
that's the best way you can explain Silent Hill. There's three different worlds between ours, which is pretty much two, because the first one is our world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is where everything is foggy. That's when you're in a
Foggy and
different
gray.
world, and then the third one is when the darkness comes through. So it's pretty much
Yep.
three worlds in between. You know, it's like I don't know, it's different dimensions,
Yep.
Pretty much that's pretty much the way you have to explain those movies. Um, but that's literally it, and it's a messed up story when you watch the first one. The whole thing with the girl and all that stuff. It's a messed up story, but it's scary in a good way. It was it was a well done movie. So I cannot wait. I feel like that director hasn't done much. It still sucks because I don't know if you ever heard about Onimusha. That's an old game. He was gonna direct that back in the day too, and something I don't know. Hollywood is weird. We know that by now when it comes to giving money, to people to make something. That goes back to Halo, which is still hurts. It hurts that we never got.
God.
It really hurts that we never got the Halo movie that we were gonna get. That Halo movie, I can tell you, it was gonna be probably one of the best things ever made. It was gonna have action. It was gonna have gore. It was gonna have horror, because Halo can have horror. When it comes to the flood. When it comes to the flood, I don't know if you know about the flood. They are like the thing, from the movie The Thing. They take over you and you become mutated and shit like that. The movie was gonna have everything. Literally, the writer that wrote 28 Days Later. He wrote Ex Machina. He wrote all those great movies. He wrote the story for Halo. Like you had him. I don't understand. That's why I don't understand about studios. You had him that wrote the story. You were gonna have Neil Blomkamp directing, which is the one from District 9, and you were gonna have Peter Jackson producing. How the hell we never got this made? To end up getting what the hell we got is insane.
Don't ask me, dude. It's just that it's always about creativiness, and not to mention it's always about people trying to make. It's just always sloppiness. And hell, dude, I don't blame you, because imagine that the CGI of Halo would have been super detailed with the CGI, the
Peter
details.
Jackson. Peter Jackson was producing.
Yeah.
It was gonna be Weta. It was gonna be Weta making the CGI. The people that are literally making Avatar now. It was gonna be them making the CGI.
Not to mention.
And then that's how we got this District 9. I don't know if you haven't seen that movie, or if you have.
Seen that long time ago.
But when you see District 9, even now it looks so real.
Yeah, not to mention the CGI looks super detailed, and especially if Halo was supposed to be super detailed, like it's supposed to mess up our eyes. Like, for example, the hand is real, but apparently them explaining that it's not a real, apparently around it CGI'd. Like, for example, if the hand was underwater and we see the hand is surrounded by a real part of a vehicle or a saddle for a horse, and they explain apparently why is that all CGI or not?
You're talking about the Avatar scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I like about.
That was like, I believe they kind of explained that, but it was still CGI with real, and no matter what, it looks real, but it wasn't 100% real. That's the thing. That movie's still
bonkers.
still blows my mind when I think about it. I'm still waiting for. There's no news. I've been waiting every day to see when this movie's coming out on Blu-ray, 4K. Nothing. We haven't got nothing yet because that's gonna be a day one 4K buy for me. I cannot wait.
What's interesting, dude? Have you not noticed how Scream movies has their 4K steel cases? It's amazing how they usually is inspired from from old days back then. You know
Yeah.
what I'd love to have, dude, one day is that the Scream movies does a retro way of VHS way.
Yeah, I mean, and we did talk about that the other day. I don't remember on Twitter when I was talking about DVD menus. Bring them back. What happened to those cool menus that we used to get on the DVDs? The moment we got Blu-rays and 4K, that went out the window. The menu on Blu-rays and 4K, they're so simple. You just get a line that says play or go to scene or go to the behind the scenes. The whole thing with DVDs, it was all like music and a weird background was going on. It was like a movie between a movie. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's like you can tell now it's all about money. They want your money, but they don't even bother with the product. Everything now is more and you get less, in my opinion.
you know, the thing, dude. Back then in the 2000s, when I used to have those on 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 DVDs, I remember back then you can interact stuff, you can play mini games there, and also apparently when you press the one of the selections, dude, you were dragged in there that movie since can go into that film area. But now, yeah, but it's like, why are we just going simple?
Yeah, like
Now,
I remember it was a whole thing like scenes between scenes. It's like
yeah,
you click on the scene and they talk about the scene. They talk about the behind the scenes during the scene. We don't get crap. I mean, it sucks. It really sucks because movies now is way more and they're way more on price. We're paying. I mean, when it comes to me, I usually like steelbooks, so I like the special case. I'm paying like $35 or $40 for a freaking movie, dude. That's a lot of freaking money. You really think about it.
between those cool cases, dude, I would love to see they give us like an unrated versions, like just don't give me scenes that the blood splatters like how Megan movie had, but just give us like 10 or 15 minutes extended scenes we never saw in theaters. Like that's what I
And
like about some good films.
and
Like,
they
okay,
used to do that too. They kind of stopped in a way, but they used to do that.
but what's interesting, dude, is that I understand that you deleted that dialogue because you're trying to get the PG-13 or R-rated thing. Because that's the thing. What's funny about Scream is that it had submitted 9 versions of itself to get an R rating. Because as you did not know, MPA was the one who's controlling to turn it into an R rated because Wes Craven was trying to get to an R rated Scream movie. But
Yeah.
if you have not noticed the difference between the Scream movies from the unrated version versus the R-rated, is that apparently Steve's death was more gruesome than what we saw in theaters or the ones you've seen on theaters.
So and that's always about studio crap. It's again a lot of times that stuff don't make any sense. It's like it's getting worse in my opinion when it comes to all that because we know we had this talk before with when it comes to movies having balls they don't have any of that anymore.
There's a reason, dude.
And
There's a reason.
what I mean by that is like 80s and 90s you literally used to get toys from
Yep.
rated R movies. You don't really
Yep.
get that. It's rare for you to get that now. It's really, really rare. It's like
Yep.
if a movie is rated R now, oh, that's not for kids. We cannot make toys for that. Like what? It's insane. And at the same time, that's in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why the Alien franchise went to crap. All this franchise, RoboCop disappeared. All great movies that used to have great toys, they just disappear out of nowhere, and it hasn't been the same at all.
You know what's interesting, dude, is that kids these days all prefer, the OGsness. Especially you have little kids want a Chucky doll over, Annabelle, because you gotta admit, you rather have a, swearing doll over than a doll that just sit her ass and hopes, other spirits can collaborate or her.
It's just curse, pretty much. But yeah, man. Any last thoughts before I end the video? I don't want to get over track because this is gonna be a long video that I have to edit. It's gonna be more work for me.
But for Scream 5, hope you can survive the wait, dude, because you're gonna get spoils all over it from the film, dude.
Ah, shit, I didn't even thought about that. You're right. I think I heard Cinemark's supposed to have buckets and all that stuff. Like
got it.
Popcorn buckets and all that. You got it? You have a Cinemark over there?
I already pre-ordered it. Well, no, Chicago doesn't have a Cinemark. We got AMC theaters here.
Them online. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Go get it, dude.
Yeah, man. You got me curious about that. So,
but I hope you manage to get the cup.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope you get the cup, dude.
I'll see if I have time. Stuff going on around spring break and all that. You know how that goes. But
yep.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining me again. This was fun. I cannot wait. You're getting me high for Scream all over again. It's been what, a year? When's Part 5 came out? Just like 2 years ago, right? Not even
a year ago, dude.
Just a year ago, because this movie came out right away, which is pretty crazy how fast they made this movie. So yeah, I cannot wait. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.
See you soon, dude.
All right, man. Later.